What's up, my friends? And how's it going again? Well, today I'm going to tell you why you should draw. I'm going to tell you why you should draw pictures, whether it's pen, pencil, or whether you want to grab a paintbrush. But this is an angle to it that not a lot of people talk about, and it goes so far beyond learning to draw or being good at something or having a skill. It's way beyond motor control or hand-eye coordination, and it goes way beyond that kind of meditative zen-like state that you can get into, that flow state when you're drawing a picture or creating something artistic. And I guess in this realm I'm speaking about specifically drawing or painting pictures of realistic scenes. And I want to talk about why that is such an awesome thing to do. Why it can be so useful in our day-to-day lives, because it helps us to perceive the world in a different way. Now look, as a musician, I can give you an example. When I was younger, I was a roofer, okay? That was one of my first construction jobs. And while I was a roofer, I remember traveling with my friend around town one day, and we were looking at all the roofs, and he was pointing out, oh, look at that roof. And I was like, oh, look at that roof. And I was like, isn't that funny? You know, if you're a roofer, you're going to notice the roofs. And I was like, most people don't notice that. They don't even pay attention. I did construction for like 15 years, you know, all the way up to finished carpentry. Every single stage of that I was in, I was noticing those aspects. If I was doing handrails, I saw handrails everywhere, right? Here's an example all of you can probably understand. When you get your first car, all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere, right? And then when you get your next car, you start seeing that car everywhere. It's the perception that we have cannot be overstated. It is so dependent upon what we expect to see and what we're used to seeing. And it's amazing that we can function as a group at all. There's that part of us where, you know, that we all have that's similar, but there's also each different unique perspective. Where when I see a camera, I'm thinking something different than you. When I see anything in this world, it's different. So back to drawing. When I was younger, I would say that my first, here's what I've got is this big thing full of pencils, right? I started drawing again, and I told myself at the beginning of this year, I made a video and I said, I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to every day spend a little bit of time, even if I don't feel like I have the time. And so far, it's actually really helped to improve my state of mind. And getting to the other points of it, first I wanted to say that all it really requires is one pencil and a piece of paper. I mean, it's that simple. You don't need to spend a lot of money, and this is why it's something that anyone can do. People want to paint, they want to do oil paints or buy canvases. That shit's expensive, man. I totally get that. But a pencil is a buck. A couple pencils, you know, a hard pencil, and maybe a couple soft pencils, and just go for it. Now I found this book. This is called Life's Autobiography. It actually says Life's Audio Biography because I was like 11 or 12 when I wrote it, and I didn't know the shit. I didn't know the word. But I went back to find the earliest drawing I could find, and that I had created, that I had. And this was it. It's a picture of my dad and my brother. Dad and Nick. And as you can see, Nick has a mullet. Back then we had mullets. And then this was my first attempt at drawing Garfield. So, all for the rest of my life, I've been drawing pictures whenever I think about it, but I usually don't get very far. I like drawing pictures of scenes, you know, or like buildings or trees, but I just never quite had the skills, and I needed the basic knowledge. I took art classes in school for, you know, in junior high, and did a little bit of art and silk screening and stuff in high school, which is how I've got this little painting behind me, which is a skull. It was Dementia, our first band when we were kids. But I went down the other day and I bought like a $20 package of art books. It came with like three, like 100 or 80 page books or 40 page. Then this one, little hard book, and several different pencils and some other charcoal pencils. And I sat down and started drawing. And I'll just, I guess, share quickly. I'm not really, I think I mentioned, I already shared, I like to just do basic sketches. Things like this, you know, skulls, and I was always been fascinated with skulls. And then I shared this one the other day, which was not quite finished, of course. It's supposed to be some Middle Eastern dude, but it ended up being just too much. And the thing is, I get over detailed with and over darkened, and I'm going to get to that and why, you know. And then this was a church that I made, which I'm still working on as well. It's a mushroom church. As you can see, the mushrooms on the top and the windows. Well, you can see if you're, yeah. Anyhow, so I'm getting ready to start another one, and I've really been into drawing cats, and so I've just been watching people online, and this is what I wanted to get to, the main point here. Watching people online is a privilege. I mean, really, people have gratitude for the people who are out there teaching you stuff online. I mean, my channel is just a dude rambling, but once in a while when I do put together a video where I'm actually taking the time to edit it, you know, I really appreciate it when people say, oh man, thanks for taking the time to teach me. One of the oldest videos I have that gets watched a lot is one about the Krieg jig, which is just a woodworking tool that allows you to drill what they call pocket holes, which are like hidden holes that you can plug in corners and stuff. And I've done tons of cabinetry, so I wanted to share while I was building something. And people are like, thanks for taking the time to set up the camera and edit. I actually have a huge folder full of everything I did when I turned my school bus and converted it into an RV. I've got video upon video. I just don't have the patience to put it all together in something coherent. But I'm going to eventually, just for the sake of saying, here's a how-to on this, strange, obscure things, cutting certain shapes and templates. So come back to art here. All the people who are doing the same thing online, I'm so grateful to be able to see and learn those basic techniques again without having to go pay to do it, or reading a book or whatnot, which I've got books too, and that's fine. But we take it for granted. I think that mostly, I'm Gen X, man, and I don't take any of this shit for granted. I mean, the information we have available to us, you have to sort through it, you know, to get to what's good. But when it comes to art, it's just art. You watch somebody do it, and you learn from them. I mean, it's not, whether it's clickbait or not, art is art, right? You can learn so much about the world by drawing. And as I said in the beginning of this video, what did I mean when I said that, we learn, that it helps us live perceive things differently? Well, when you are in the mindset of somebody who is an artist, whether you draw or paint, and honestly, one of my favorite mediums is the pen. These Micron pens are some of my favorite pens to draw with. You know, there's like 7 different sizes of black, then there's the rainbow colors, and don't always use the colors, but most people won't use a pen until they're confident with it. Now there's a YouTube channel I'd like to mention, 2 of them actually, that have to do with art that came to mind. One I mentioned before, which is Struthless, Struthles, and the other one is called Peter Draws, just like it sounds. Peter Draws is weird because he makes these videos about hot dogs, and he's got a very unique personality, which is why I like him. But the type of doodling he does, is the type of stuff I like to do, which is a whole bunch of interlinked random things. I guess I could give you an example. I tried to draw one years ago. Like here's a picture of a dude that with an acid on his tongue that I drew a couple weeks ago, and still working on that one. But there was this other picture that I had drawn a long time ago, or like a year ago in here. Oh, there's my school bus. When you start drawing on a regular basis, right? There was my school bus. I was doing my best with just colored pencils. I was camping and I was kind of stoned. But this is the one I'm talking about, this kind of stuff. So, just a whole bunch of interlinked, interconnected, symbols, shapes. And I do like using color, And I just keep working on this gradually. It's about patience and that little final piece. But when you put the pen down and you go out in the world and you're walking about on your daily routine, whatever it might be, you're going to find yourself looking at the world differently. Because in your mind, you're looking for ideas and inspiration to draw or paint. So it's going to be different if you draw or if you paint. For example, if you're a painter, you're going to be looking at colors and shadows a lot more. But if you draw, you're going to be looking at angles and perspectives a lot more. So you are going, and both are going to be, they're both interconnected. They're not mutually exclusive. But you're going to learn a lot about the world by observing, how does this chair I'm looking at look from this angle? What about this angle? All of a sudden you start looking at buildings and streets and understanding three-point perspectives by just, oh, okay, that's what they mean, or that's what they mean, or yeah, that makes sense. And so you'll watch maybe a tutorial, you'll get some ideas and some terms, then you start remembering that when you see the world around you. You're like, oh yes, okay, a little bit of shading here, all on one side. Something as simple as drawing a cloud is not so simple, or drawing a face, So what I'm working on right now are crows, cats' faces, and human faces, as well as buildings, and those are my groups. People say to stick with one thing. I even gave that advice in a previous video. I said that was advice that I got. I'm not saying I'm necessarily giving it, because I can't do that. Not everybody has the personality to stick with one thing forever, Sometimes we just have to do what we can do, and whatever comes to mind and feels good in our heart. And don't worry about, accomplishing anything major. Just keep at it. Just keep trying. Go back to old drawings. If you get halfway through a drawing and you want to start adding too much detail to it, make a photocopy. Just scan it, make a copy, and then use the copy to add color to, or to add detail. It's a really valuable lesson that I've learned, is when your picture has the basic outlines and stuff, print it, and then tease yourself with different ideas. Sometimes I'll print out like 5 or 6 different ones and say, oh, I like this shading better. And you're never going to learn until you do it. It just gets so old to hear people say, oh, I just don't have the skills and I don't have that natural talent. And you do. Because I'm the same way. I say the same thing. How do they do that? How do they do that? Watching people draw surrealistic, one of the most amazing things is the colored pencil realistic drawings. They look like they're printed pictures, and it is mind-blowing. And I'm sure it has to do with the high quality of colored pencils they have today, along with people's intentions of learning how to blend them properly, having a whole lot of different colors. But I've always wondered, why are some paintings so much more realistic today than in the past? It's kind of an interesting thing. It's almost like things are becoming more, I don't know, skills. Even if a person spends their life in the past painting, there were very few painters who could paint realistically to the point where you were like, wow, that looks like a photo. But I'm not really into that as much. I like drawing. I like the art of drawing. I like being able to put the pencil on the paper, erase something. So really what you need is just a pencil and an eraser and a piece of paper. You can take it anywhere you go and sketch stuff. So I hope this inspires people to at least grab a pencil and try to draw. And don't beat yourself up over it. It doesn't matter if it's not good. You'll never get good overnight. You can't pick up an acoustic guitar and learn how to play. When I first started playing guitar, I sucked. I really sucked. Everyone does. There's not a person I've ever met in my life who decided they were going to draw and just drew a fantastic picture, or wanted to play guitar and played a chord right away. I'm teaching my 7-year-old to play a few chords right now on guitar, and as frustrating as it is for him, I'm like, dude, when I was your age, I ended up getting a bass guitar because I thought my fingers were too big, because I got big hands. I thought they're too big for guitar because I can't do it. Stubborn. Now I can play guitar, and I'm glad I do. And I'm really grateful to have the skills I have, and I just guess that's why I'm sitting here going on and on about drawing, because it's something I don't talk about, but it's something I really love. And there are so many hobbies that I have a love for. It's crazy. Photography, drawing. I have an easel set up with this painting I was doing in the living room, but woodworking, doing the resin, and I don't know where to put my energy, so I go back and forth between all these different things, and each one teaches me a different lesson about life. And, I'd really like to dedicate a channel to just random projects that I do. Because sometimes I'm like, I want to put this together with this, and honestly, with all the ideas I've had on YouTube, I can't think of anything that I would enjoy more than just being able to do something like that. In fact, there's a channel perfectly that would describe that I found a while back. It was called I Did a Thing. And this guy started his channel like a year ago, or a couple of years ago, but he's built his subscriber base so fast because he has amazing content. It's not that hard, super bullshit edited out. It's like he's just being a real dude and making stuff out of stuff. And it's pretty much bring that up because that's the kind of stuff I like to do too. I have so many different hobbies and interests. It's like, man, what a weird time to be alive, man, where you can just share it on the internet and some people can actually make a living off of it. It's crazy. I guess I've been a little bit down on my own artistic, you know, endeavors lately because I feel like it's a waste of time because I should be working, I should be making money, and I'm not making money off art. I think that's why I guess I envy those who can make money off their art like that. Um, People who are making more money off of just the revenue off their channel than they are off the art, and you know, yeah, that'd be a great thing. So maybe if enough people subscribe to my channel and I get enough supporters, maybe I can do something like that with my life. But like I said, it has to be random because I'm a random person. That's what I love about my channel. I don't feel tied down to one thing. And when you base your whole channel around, let's say, doing one specific thing, and you get tired of that thing, and you're like, I can't imagine the feeling, you know, of feeling stuck at talking about one thing. And I have so many different things to talk about. So, in fact, I have 2 more videos to do after this one. One is about LSD, and one is about the bullshit Instagram world that we live in. But I'll get to that when the time is right. And thanks for listening. Peace out. Talk to y'all later.